yeah, it doesn't
Sure.
super block too many heroes. I think the thing
5
here for
seconds
Execration, where it's like they're kind of challenging Fnatic to do something to just shut down a TA. I feel like whenever TA comes out, it's not quite the same impact as like the Brood, but it's a similar effect where it's like, okay, this hero just wants to like flash farm, hit a really fast timing with, Dragonlance, Death, or maybe a blink and take Roshan and then just take over the game. You've got to address the stacks, you've got to maybe even address the TA's lane, and Fnatic do directly respond. They've got Jakiro, Darkseer now. They've got very good ways to burn through Refraction and potentially pressure the TA in lane as well as in the mid game.
10
I
seconds
really,
remaining.
really, really like this Darkseer pick. I think Darkseer Nyx is something that like
5
Tundra run
seconds
a
remaining.
lot, so I've been watching a lot of those replays because I love Darkseer. And it's like a good lane, especially if they like cut the waves and just get their levels and stuff. And then I think this like Ogre, and I don't know what carry they're gonna pick. I'm assuming they want to put TA against the Queen of Pain
Yeah.
mid. But like it kind of blocks out a lot of carries. Like you can't pick like Lunas and Terrorblades and whatever into Darkseer. It's really hard and horrible. And like a hero like Ogre, which is usually meant to be this big body that doesn't die as a support, actually dies pretty easily to like leveled up Iron Shell, Nyx, Darkseer running at you.
Yeah, the carries that are good against Darkseer are kind of fewer. Like, and in some of them you don't want to play with TA.
10
Like you don't want to pick
seconds
anti-mage with TA generally. There's just not enough farm to go around.
Yeah.
Your draft is going to suck. So even though AM's one of the Darkseer counters, it's no good. You're looking at Bloodseeker, Jug, Lifestealer. They ban out Lifestealer and Bloodseeker, so maybe they go Jug. Jug's not like the flashiest or best hero right now. Doesn't maybe synergize that. Well, you're looking at double melee then with like a Ogre Jug or a Tusk Jug. It's not like the best lane, but
Yeah, you pick a range hero as well, and you're susceptible to just getting dove
Yeah.
really hard. So it's like,
10 seconds
because yeah,
remaining.
like the nice thing
Mhm.
about Darkseer is like when you want to make a play, you just if you have glyph up, you glyph
5
the creep wave and
seconds
you just
remaining.
run at them, and there's nothing they can do about it pretty
Yeah.
much.
some range do. The ones that can, like a Medusa that can clear out the wave, does a little better than like the Drows and other stuff, which don't push
Yeah.
the wave at all. But you're still looking like OD, TA, Medusa. It's pretty greedy. And Medusa with TA, same thing as the AM, pretty greedy. Like, can you get away with that? They'd rather something that doesn't need as much farm, but a lot of those heroes are banned out or just maybe, like you say, bad against Darkseer.
Yeah, it's. I look at Execration's lineup and I feel like it's missing a lot. Like maybe they do have to just put TA on carry and OD mid or something, and then OD mid sucks against co-op. I don't know, but like they're missing team fight, for example. Like they have currently no way to really take a good fight. Like how do you start fights? It has to be your Ogre and Tusk running in as like these melee dudes with big health pools and like kill us. But then where's your like
Yep.
real catch?
I keep thinking of heroes that seem like they'd maybe fix it, and then I'm like, oh, but it's bad versus Nyx. Like they could do a Puck mid with a TA safe lane, like Puck versus the co-op, gives them some team fight, some catch. But then I'm like, do you want to pick that in Nyx? At some point, I think you just have to suck it up and maybe pick a hero that's good for your draft, even if there's a Nyx assassin in the game. Like, you can't just live in fear of a Nyx assassin and not pick these heroes. So
Yeah.
they just go to the Puck. That's what the hero I like most for their draft. And yeah, it's in the Nyx, but
Yes.
hey,
TA is.
they needed this hero.
TA is gonna get bodied. Is my only sadness. I don't think that there's a single side lane she can go to where she's happy. Either you're
10
going into
seconds
Darkseer
remaining.
next lane, which can dive you and kill you, or you're going into a Jakiro plus whatever lane.
5 seconds
I wonder if there's
remaining.
like there's not really like tri-lane potential. You don't want to leave an OD alone or OD kind of
OD
feed.
can't do
Yeah.
that at all.
Maybe you're doing some early rotations where you get OD like level 2, level 3 and feel like you can do a sneaky little Tusk TP top to kill the Darkseer or something, but then anytime you leave the OD alone, he's going to get bullied out of lane.
And then you want to go mid as well because you want to be helping contest runes for your Puck and helping him. But then again, like you're leaving your two heroes who are just literally can't be left alone. So Fnatic right now seem like they have way more agency on like all their lanes.
Well, they have full freedom now with their last pick. A lot of carries are banned out, but Raven, a player whose hero pool pretty unlimited, I feel.
Terrorblade, is it bad?
Um,
His Terrorblade
Is
is
it-
so good. Like you also can pick something that's kind of slow, like a Medusa. They don't really have a lot of damage. OD's kind of okay against it, but like how good is his lane gonna be?
Yeah.
And you can okay, cool.
Ooh, the tempo. This is
Yeah.
let's put pressure on like TA, not let her take over the game. I mean, you mentioned it's going to be a tough TA lane anyways. I don't think TA's set up to take over the game, but Darkseer hero, like good Iron Shell hero too.
I think CK is one of the only carries that I could see get picked here, and I'm just like not sold because CK
Oh,
can
damn.
go either way, right?
Yeah,
He
yeah.
he either kills his lane, like because usually you give him a kill lane and you just like body them over and over again, Or you like don't kill anyone, farm for a while, you don't have flash farm, and then you kind of like just
He's relying on his
Non-existent.
teammates to do well. If this TA does somehow do well in lane and free farm some stacks, like CK's not gonna be happy with the game.
Alrighty. I'm gonna ask the question I always ask you guys.
Go ahead.
In absolutes, which team's definitely absolutely gonna win in your eyes?
I like Fnatic's lineup more, just as a whole. I think they
Okay.
cover a lot more bases. I think their fighting is a lot easier to do. I like the execution as a whole, super nice and easy. Execration just have, in my opinion, worse lanes. It's just a bit difficult.
Yeah.
So.
I would agree with that, and I'd say like Kamizu's look better on some of these more like teamfighty frontline offlaners. I don't think OD necessarily suits him that well. I hope he proves me wrong, because I think Execration's draft is okay, but there's going to be a lot of pressure on them early on.
They need that Aegis on TA.
Yes.
That's how they take fights.
Absolutely.
Well, you heard them on this panel. And honestly, two people that I really do want to hear from are our casters as we head into game number 1. Aries and Danog, please take it away.
Thank you, Nat. I mean, Danog, we heard the panel. They were a little bit hesitant with the Execration draft until really that last pick with the Chaos Knight coming out. Are you a big fan of the last overall for Fnatic, or do you feel like Execration might have what it takes?
I like the Chaos Knight. I mean, any time that you're going up against this OD, I feel like you need to pick something that's able to kill him consistently in the lane. And paired together with the Jakiro, it's all right. You know, you get a little bit of the slows going on there, which is, of course, very impactful. But it does feel like you are kind of sitting a little bit more AFK with this Jakiro, at least until you're able to pick up that Aghanim shard. Of course, it helps you with sieging in onto the towers. It's another way to provide that little bit of a mini stun, and even just another way to get through those refraction charges onto the TA. So we'll see how this lane goes, because I'm going to be feeling a whole lot more optimistic about Fnatic if they are able to get 2 or 3 kills in that top lane in particular.
Now, I know we've been doing a lot of Division 2 games, and we kind of have this prediction bet going on between us. We're currently even with our games. The winner gets, what was it, a free dinner, and I think a cream. So,
and a slab of mate mate. Let's not forget that.
Oh, and a slab of mate as well. So there's some things on the line for either team and also us. Of course, Execration playing off the back of making sure they don't get relegated, and Fnatic potentially, if they can take 2 series, maybe edging their way into top 3. How are we feeling about this game 1 draft? Who are we putting our money on?
I'm going to put my faith in Fnatic. Their performances just across the board have seemed a little bit more solid. And, I mean, we've got this nice lane on the side lanes, of course, with the Nyx Assassin and the Darkseer. Even if you start to get bullied out of the lane a little bit, you've always got the potential to just go and cut the lanes. And with an Ogre, you can't hold him in place for a super long time, right? You can always just turn around, stun, and then continue running away with the creeps. So you're going to be able to get a decent amount of farm in most of these lanes, I feel.
It definitely felt like there was some hesitancy with how Execration had kind of drafted themselves in a little bit of a corner. I mean, this last pick, Pock, it is by far one of Bob's best heroes, and I know we got to, cast Bob back on Southfield in games where he was on the puck and he was against really bad matchups, but somehow he could take the game, the grasp of his hand and just carry his team. And, only time will tell, but it's definitely not a good matchup versus Nyx, and the lane versus Quap is really rough.
It is certainly quite rough. And, well, also we've seen, of course, some great performances from Bob. We've also seen some chain feeding from him as well. So I think these first few minutes are really going to set the tone for how the overall game is going to turn out here with, it's a decent matchup against the Queen of Pain. Plenty of ways to be able to dodge out the Shadow Strike, which means that Armel, he might go what a lot of these Quaps do these days and just completely avoid going into that at all and just try and spam out that Scream of Pain as much as possible.
The panel was saying that this bottom lane, the Darkseer and the Nyx Assassin, feels like it's going to be a really strong matchup. The TA, doesn't really have a side lane where she'd be comfortable. Are you in agreement with this? Do you feel like maybe Vincenzo can offset some of the advantage they have from Fnatic?
A little bit, but again, you are still playing a melee into Ion Shell. So as soon as you hit up onto level 3, that's going to be the key timing that they're going to get here. Maybe even level 2, to be honest, on Fnatic to be able to bully him out a little bit. And until Nando gets a few more points into the side blades, even just having the refraction isn't going to save you, right? He's always going to have that Ion Shell slowly ticking away at you and making your life a whole lot more miserable. So I want to see Execration put a lot of emphasis onto getting some of these stacks up as quickly as possible.
And don't really have the greatest stacking here on the position 4. I mean, Carlo on the Tusk is, quite often a hero that likes to play in the lane. You've got an outward Devourer, so maybe if you can catch out Genuel away from the protection of the Chaos Knight, he might also look to maybe put a little bit more emphasis on helping Bob mid to secure some of the early water runes. So we're really excited to see how he can actually change his game, maybe to just put some emphasis on stacking for TA.
Ooh, Armel actually got the luxury of being able to go into a point in the Shadow Strike. Might just keep it at 1. I mean, that's what a puck does, right? Like, you're able to get the better end of most of these kinds of trades. Oh, there we go. This was like I was wanting 3 kills in this lane, right? It's not onto the OD, so at least there's that. Kamizu has been able to farm consistently close-ish to his tower. But, of course, happy to grab that first blood, especially considering it was Raven that ended up picking it up.
I mean, the Chaos Knight's such an exceptional laning stage hero. You pair that up with the Jakiro, someone who we don't see for quite some time. So, do you feel like this lane actually might even catch them off guard in regards to Execration not being accustomed to what a Jakiro and a Chaos Knight can do together?
No, I think it should be just fine. I mean, with the Tusk, most of the time you're going to be able to dodge out a lot of this stuff. At least once you hit up onto level 3, you're going to have the point in the Snowball to be able to dodge out some of the slower projectiles. But
and
just continuing to go on to Kamizu, yeah. But again, you don't think he'll be dying here. Like it's going to be charges. It's going to be Zhao hitting level 4 that's the real game changer in my mind, right? 2 points in the dual breath, doubles the damage that it does. And most games you kind of want to avoid going even a single point into the ice path unless you've got a real big reason to have it. And this game you do, because you're going to be coming up against that Meteor Hammer. So just from very long range to be able to disrupt that combo
might be in trouble down bottom. And they find the drag back into the Impale, really trying to utilize the slow tick and the burn.
Top
and
again.
Now they'll just turn their attention to the Ogre as top lane. Kamizu is going to end up getting dropped, and there's the kill starting to flock on over for Fnatic.
Sorry to our observer there. Their kills happening all across the map at the exact same point in time. So kind of like what we were expecting, the Fnatic lineup, of course, excelling in the laning stage, even able to go back again onto Nando here. It's a lot of damage, but they are out of mana. So let's see if they're going to try and make something happen here with this, with Nando being fed over the healing salve. Vincenzo obviously just putting his body up there in their face.
Definitely feels like Execration, if they can maybe get on top of DJ here, playing along with the Spike Carapace, some sick charges as well to boot. But finally, our first kill picked up. It will be Vincenzo finding it. Nando, he's still flawless at the moment, but really would love any extra kill he can get, considering this is not going to be an easy lane shortly.
He's still doing a good job, though. I mean, he's basically level with net worth relative to the Chaos Knight when you consider that Raven got the first blood, so of course he got a lot of that extra.
He's going again. Raven top on Carlo.
He's got the Snowball, though.
Kamizu nearby. Asher will give him some space. Same with the Snowball. Odie's trying to do whatever he can to beat onto Raven, who's actually going to turn it back around. Stick charge is available. Do they dive deep under the tower? They're playing on the outskirts. Raven's going to drag him out still somehow. Alive is Raven.
He spent that entire fight with the gauntlets of strength in his backpack instead, so maybe that extra little bit of strength, the extra damage might have been enough to allow him to, take one more hit to do a little bit more damage. The crit, of course, worth even more, but such a close one. And they are reducing the amount of farm that this OD has been able to pick up so far, sitting 6th on the net worth, relative, like he's almost 1,000 gold behind Raven at this stage of the game, so things go on swimmingly for Fnatic.
It does feel like...
Oh, Nando, you were complimenting him about avoiding a lot of the deaths there on the bottom side, but unfortunately the weight of numbers was just too much, and Vincenzo having to walk all the way back to base, not having the mana for the TP scroll means that he's in a little bit of a rough spot. Wonder with this Bassi ring, I'm a big fan of going into the Veil of Discord on the Ogre, but I mean, it's really only going to be the puck that gets a huge benefit out of it. OD a little bit, but certainly not the TA and the Tusk.
Got it.
Level 6 now on Bob, so potential with this coil, a TP into coil if Fnatic get a little bit too aggressive on some of the side lanes, which we've seen them do so far. Close dives top and bottom, just posturing so aggressively, and this is what you'd come to expect with their draft. I mean, really strong side lanes, and honestly, all 3 lanes, considering how Armel is going 38 and 10.
Yeah, doing a lot to deny away a lot of that experience that Bob's been able to get. He's about half a level or so behind. And something else that I just realized, I mean, you see an OD and oftentimes you think, oh, all right, Meteor Hammer. Not this game. I mean, he's just ended up queuing it up, but he's had the power treads queued up for the longest time, obviously just realizing the strength of being able to, you know, go up against the things that we were talking about. The Jakiro, he's got the 1 point in the ice path now, so provided that you're just not, you know, putting yourself as an offering to be able to be killed, you're going to be able to have that counter initiation onto an OD. And, you know, to set up for those meteors, you need to use the Astral. You're not going to have escape potential for yourself. You are leaving yourself incredibly vulnerable if you're not using these Astrals along with other players. Whereas, you know, previously, as soon as you hit that level 6, it feels like the enemy team can't lane into you. But this time around, it feels like they're totally happy with that.
Now, what are we expecting with the item build to be here for Raven on the Chaos Knight? He's got the armlet queued up at the moment. Do you see potentially any detour going after the armlet?
I mean, previously you would go into things like, you know, the Silver Edge, but recently with the changes to the crit, it means that the Chaos Strike is like griefed a little bit. If you low roll on the Chaos Strike min-max sort of thing, between 120% and 170%, you don't actually get the lifesteal from it because you get the Silver Edge's lifesteal and the Chrysalis's lifesteal. So you kind of need to go down a little bit of a different route there with the CK. As to what that is, wonder if he's going to go for like some other form of just being able to blink in onto a target and look to burst them down really quickly. Because if you can take a puck out of a team fight, there's very little stopping the rest of your team from just running you down. Again, Puck is kind of like the anchor to Execration's team fight. If he's removed from the equation, they can just like constantly just surge run at you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Oh, Bob, who's
Ice
had
Fog is revealed on the map at the moment.
I love the capabilities zone on forward, thanks to a beautiful observer. We've got a little bit of a pause. So it's been a kind of the day of pauses so far. Team is still getting situated. Fnatic though, not really. You're needing too long to start themselves off with incredible starting lanes. Of course, a 5-1 kill advantage in regards to the boys over on Dial. Like you're saying, though,
Australia vision now in the in the observer
down
spots.
under. Let's go. Yeah. I mean, you left me down here. That's okay. I'll carry the pride.
You didn't invite me on your family's little trip for your birthday, so oh, by the way, happy birthday, Aries, for people that weren't here during the Division 2 series. 22 now. You're ancient.
Ancient. I'm a boomer like you.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Getting wiser by the year, they say, I believe, something like that. Bob. Alright, level 7, Bob. We're going to see the first movement of the game. He's shoved out this lane, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult for Fnatic to at least have the awareness of this move occurring. Even Vincenzo's sitting towards top as well, so it's going to Kimizu to start. They'll need some TPs to try and protect Raven. There's the first come into play for the Nyx Assassin, but I mean, Raven's just standing his ground and looking to man fight. Can they blow up the OT? They can. Now with the help of DJ, they'll turn it back around. A stun onto 2. Armo gets involved. Doesn't have enough mana for the Sonic Wave, but it looks like he doesn't even need it. As somehow Raven keeps his life and Fnatic find 3.
Just gets him closer and closer to that armlet. You know, CK, one of those heroes that with all of that lifesteal, once he picks it up, is going to be... It feels like you have so much more active HP. You know, it gives you all of that bonus strength, giving you about 450 extra health as a result from using it. And, yeah, I mean, I feel like Raven's that highly skilled style of player that's going to use that to its fullest potential. So, I mean, it was the right move from Execration to need to rotate all of those different heroes up towards the top to try and reduce the amount of farm that Raven's been able to pick up here. But until you have that full-on burst potential, like from... unless you feel confident of bringing him from 30% to 0, you probably shouldn't be making that play. And, well, with all this stuff happening, OD just still hasn't picked up an item after that first one, only just now buying the Ring of Hell. Normally you look to see this around the 6 or so minute mark, getting that Meteor Hammer.
They're scouting out Nando too. Very early level 6 from DJ. Got Vincenzo nearby, unfortunately. Bit of a whiff there on the stun. Now with 4 Radiant heroes showing up, might be enough to turn it back around. So look to try and target down James at the moment, but Armel's even going to blink in the middle. Drops a Sonic Wave, getting rid of Carlo. They're still lacking a little bit of the control for Bob. As a jaunt to the TP out, Armel's, he got the damage, he doesn't. Park just out to safety.
Nicely done, but again, like Nando, you're generally happy with those 4-man rotations, even if they don't work out perfectly if your TA's farming, but even despite all of this, TA's fallen a fair ways behind. They've built up a little bit of a stack for him around the Ancient camp, which is nice for that comeback potential, and it's not like Fnatic have amazing ways to take it. Maybe if Zhao hits up onto that level 6 on the Jakiro, you'll drop the Macro Pyre on top of everything else to be able to secure it for your team, but there is still some form of a comeback mechanic here for Nando to be really put the team on his back and bring them through first few of these tower engagements.
Looks like it will be Fnatic tip first in regards to the objectives. And they are sitting incredibly comfortable at the moment as... we're going to see a bit of a Witchblade build here for the Park. How do you feel about this item overall? Because it has been nerfed over time. Do you feel like this is going to fit the playstyle that we need to see out of the Park?
Hard to say, right? Because against the Chaos Knight, with all the burst damage that you're able to deal, it is nice to have that little bit of an extra bit of armor to withstand a lot of the pressure that you're facing. But I kind of feel as well against a Darkseer and a Queen of Pain in particular, hell, even just the Jakiro, right? Having something like the Blink Dagger is going to be
in trouble.
More
Bob's going to drop the coil. Execration with their 3-man rotations, enough to overwhelm, but now simultaneously, Nando, he needs some assistance. He needs it now, but Kamizu is a little bit too far away. Armel will secure the kill with the Sonic Wave, and they'll end up finding a 1-for-1 trade across the map. Also taking a stack out too.
Taking the stack out, you've got the siege creep here, the 10-minute one towards this top side of the map, and Raven even popping the Phantasm to take this one even faster. I mean, it's unfortunate, but Kamizu is still, I don't want to say nowhere close to finishing his Meteor Hammer, but he is very slow with picking this one up. Not only do you not fulfill your role as kind of this anti-carry for the lane, I mean, you've allowed Zhao Nuel to be able to rotate and make a few of these other kills happen because you haven't gotten the early Meteor Hammer, and also you can't take waves quickly, you can't take neutral camps, and, well, even though he was able to secure that, that one Ancient stack there on the TA, the next one's going to be looking like Raven, unless they're able to catch him out here. Nice coverage there by Zhao.
Pretty goddamn beefy. Kamizu's going to try and pogo stick on forward. They're going to even TP in Bob as well. Raven playing around with the armlet, toggles Bob. He's got the coil up in a couple of seconds. He's going to try and find the angle on the support initially, even jaunting further on the backline. But now they've been able to close the distance as Raven playing with these armlets. It's not enough as Bob secures the kill. Now they're going to look to try and bring down Armel as well. An extra silence of damage. Lucky at the moment the stun's there, but still Armel turns it back around. The extra rotation coming through from Jabs in the nick of time to provide the damage to get rid of the puck.
But there's that difference there. You actually had the burst that time around. Raven was very conscious of not wanting to use too much of his mana unless he absolutely needed to, but at the end of the day, the Sanage Eclipse was able to pick up the kill. Kamizu finally getting that Meteor Hammer, and of course the Tumbler's Toy, the extra 200 mana, going to be a nice little tool as well to be able to burst down some of these heroes that are a little bit slippery if you give them even a moment to get away.
Who got the kill on the Chaos Knight? Okay, so it was Bob, which played very shortly completed here. It definitely feels like for Execration, they're playing off the back of whatever Bob can do. You know, he's 3-1-0 at the moment. His kill participation has to be exceptionally high here.
They're even looking to potentially play around that timing on the top side. You know, Dream Coil nearly available. You've got the Witchblade coming out. Meteor Hammer enables you to take this tower. Zhao's playing a little bit of that stalling role, though, on the Jakiro, obviously, just laying down the Macro Pyre. Can stay in the trees and even TP away to the other side of the map. But I like this. You know, you've stalled effectively 2 waves here on a position 5, and you're still in a position to be able to make plays throughout the rest of the map.
Yeah. Giving some space though for Nando nonetheless. Third in net worth, closing the distance on the Deso. Once again, it's going to be Kamizu to start, but the Ice Path position from Genuel will cancel this, and now they'll just turn it back around as Carlo He's compromised his own position. You see Fnatic a little bit cautious on how heavily they want to commit until Raven shows up, and now he can follow the distance. It's charging on full thanks to the surge, and they'll blow up the OD once again. It's all Fnatic to start this game. They're looking to make it a triple as well, as Vincenzo's still sticking around. The straggler penalized for his position, and Raven to find it, and now with tier 1 tower mid to boot.
It's all on the back of this Jakiro. Zhao is playing a fantastic game, going the max ice path, making sure he's interrupting all of these OD initiations, and even in previous fights, you know, Fnatic probably should have lost a few when they made that recent rotation to kill the Chaos Knight, but Zhao hitting 3-man ice paths consistently. That time around it was 2 and then 2 again. He's just a really solid player and really showing why Fnatic picked them up at the start of this season.
And you see how difficult it is as well for Kamizu to have any hope of landing this Meteor Hammer in a team fight or even a bigger skirmish. You've got the Jakiro Ice Path, you've got the Nyx Assassin, and Darkseid here is getting really farmed from jabs, and you know, even just how we're seeing Raven posture as well. So they're really going to have to play off the back of just these small pickoffs across the map. Otherwise, I don't see you landing a Meteor.
It's going to be quite difficult for sure. And I mean, yeah, Jabs, like you mentioned, is having a very minimal involvement in a lot of these team fights. He's really trying to focus on picking up that first key item for himself, which is going to be that Aghanims. Great for the Queen of Pain, especially once she's able to pick up that Kaya to complete the Kaya and Sanj, or just toss it onto the Nyx Assassin, and you're totally cool with that as well.
Now, Radiant, with this Desolator completed from the Templar Assassin, though, if they do take a successful skirmish, they can obliterate objectives with the help of the tag team, which is maxed out. So we'll have to see if this catches Fnatic off guard. Key emphasis on a lot of the armor this game from them.
Shippo and Parker highlighted on the panel. They said in order for Execration to have any kind of hope, that first Roche needs to be Execrations, and it's going to be on the back of this Tusk TA combination. Again, that is the question, though. Are they going to take a successful team fight? They're playing behind Armel. Of course, he's very tanky with the Kaya and Sanj. They've also got the Darkseid, just 100 or so gold away from finishing that Aghanim Scepter for himself, and he's got it. They're going to look to play around this bottom side of the map. You know the OD's there. The question is, are they going to dive for it?
Now like they will. Amo instantly answering as Kamizu.
Does it again.
Come kind of clutch. I mean, this would be perfect time to try and trade tier 2 for Roche bot. And it's about half health, so Fnatic could potentially get the tower and then instantly start to get their formation up the top.
Well, they don't lack the ways to take this tower either. Raven popped the Phantasm to be able to do this, so, I mean, the team fight around Roche Pit, if it does end up happening, is going to be hindered somewhat, but you know, at the very least, you're going to be securing this bottom tower for yourselves. Will the TP start to come? They have no immediate vision to close in onto this Roche Pit, so I feel like Execration are going to feel okay about this. I mean, they have no one outside of the puck that is really good at defending towers anyway, so I feel like they're happy with that trade because at least they're able to get something out of it. Probably the first thing that has gone their way throughout this game.
Yep. I think if you can delay the game long enough for Nando to pick BKB up with maybe a minute 30 left on Aegis, then you'd be in fighting shape. I mean, more than likely we'll see Fnatic take a fight before them because of Jabs having the Aghanims, but the Stars, do I want to say they're aligning? Like you said, this is exactly what they needed, first Roshan, but still waiting for maybe that next item to connect perfectly.
Yeah, it's very clear. I mean, the timing on that TA BKB is going to link up quite nicely with Puck getting into the Blink Dagger himself. He's putting himself in the more difficult lane, of course. Jab's doing his best to just continuously cut it, making it more and more challenging, of course, for Bob. As they might be looking to make a bit of a play here. No, it's just about denying the pushing potential that Fnatic have still, because you know that they want to run at you. He's going to go into the Shadow Blade on the Chaos Knight. Let's see if he does end up going into the Silver Edge as well, because, again, what a grief.
Here we go. Smoke up on 4. They'll probably look to connect with Jabs, who's posturing top at the moment. Bit disconnected, though, from Execration, so they've got to be cautious of how long they look to stick around.
It's kind of obvious. I mean, this mid tower is just being beated on by Bob. That's a free tower. It is real obvious. So Nando, he's running back as quickly as he can. No Blink Dagger yet on Raven.
The vision. Raven's gonna start straight on top of Nando, but he's got
Nice
Carlo
meld.
behind him as well, and even better Impale, landing onto 2, which will slow down the snowball, which is still fast enough to get Nando out to safety. Bob's gonna think about swinging on over from the west, but Nando diving deeper and deeper behind the tier 2 tower. Another great Astral to give Nando time.
Yeah, nice team play.
They might turn to Bob though. Ice Path from downtown. Raven is able to find the extra chain control as Bob. Second death of the game off the back of this maxed out Ice Path.
Can't ask for too much more out of Nando though. Dodging 2 stuns with his meld, making sure to immediately react to the fact that you know, things were happening elsewhere around the map. You know that they're going for some kind of smoke because Fnatic let their tier 1 tower drop. It was a good ward placement and they nearly caught him out. But yeah, good play, team play, excuse me, happening all throughout the map.
Raven didn't even have to pop his BKB as well, so still 9-second duration. You just see how difficult it is though for Execration to start these fights. I mean, always Dire are going to have this vision advantage thanks to the Nyx assassin, the lane shoved out.
He's got his
They got the wards as well
on
around
Nyx.
mid.
Yeah, Nyx has a blink, so...
Oh my, DJ's so farmed. This is Armel. He'll split the middle. Raven will do the dirty work if he can cut off Kamizu, but they've got a really strong ward on the high ground for Execration. As Kamizu's going to try and jump in full. They're able to secure Nando's life at the moment thanks to the snowball. But now that they're on top of the Templar Assassin, Nando needs assistance. He's going to hold the BKB for round 2. But now Raven popping his own BKB. He'll look to deal with the support simultaneously. They get rid of Vincenzo. And now the rest of the cores are on the agenda. Nando, a super defensive BKB, be out to safety. But I mean, you see, they can't stand their ground and right click. It's all Fnatic.
Yeah, for sure. I want to see if there's any, you know, cool plays coming out from the Nyx as well. Of course, playing against the puck, it always feels a little bit weird when you can't see the Nyx assassin on the map. He could be roaming around. He could be in the Vendetta just ready to carapace and stun you after the fact. I mean, even just using an illusory orb now, you can just blink into the path, pop your carapace, and then enable your team fight in that way. Armel having a great game though. No deaths, 8 kills, huge involvement, and playing that aggressive role as well, popping himself on the front lines and putting faith in the rest of his team. The Kyron Sanj, the extra health coming through, of course, from Jabs' Ion Shell.
Smoke from Fnatic. They're not going to be able to catch anyone out. Execration is able to get out of dodge fast enough, but still, I mean, even though with the deficit they have in regards to the killers, the fact that it's only a 3,000 net worth lead is a little bit surprising.
It's the power of that TA, man. It just farms where it shouldn't be able to. Even getting closer to that Blink Dagger on the TA herself. So if you're able to get it onto the backlines, particularly Jabs, I feel like he's the real teamfight enabler. Just without the Chaos Knight going for that super early Blink that I was highlighting before, he's got it picked up in his stash now, and he'll have it in combination with his level 15. Of course, it's going to enable his teamfight, but Jabs has been almost exclusively surging Raven just to make sure he's able to get in onto those backlines, particularly Kamizu, and look to take him out before these teamfights begin.
Yeah, they need to server the fights. Like, Bob has to get a really, really good coil. And you can't, if you jump in the middle and not worried about the Nyx positioning or the ice path as well, then it's going to cost Bob his life and just all the pressure that Raven and more importantly, Jabs is really putting on them because of the Iron Shell and because of the Surge. They can just, brute force their way in the middle, and Execration are crumbling with their formation.
Yeah, and it's going to get worse now, right? Like, of course, Blink Dagger on Quap, you've got a Blink Dagger on your Darkseer, you've got a Blink Dagger on Chaos Knight. So, good luck formation. As long as you're not clumping up with everyone right on the same target and getting, like, 5-man Dream Coiled, these fights should be really easy for Fnatic. And even if you do get Dream Coiled on Raven and Armel, you've got those BKBs available. So, it'll take, not necessarily a miracle, but the super ideal team fights to start coming out here for Execration. And in terms of what those team fights entail, it might just be playing around that Roche pit, you know, these areas where you know people are going to be contesting around a choke point. But, I mean, that kind of favors Fnatic as well, so that's just the spot that they've got themselves in.
Yeah, and the lack of team fighting prowess is a big issue with this draft. You see Fnatic just holding full control of this game, and they can just freely push down objectives. Tier 2 Under siege now mid. And DJ's just going to look to jump. As soon as the Ogre shows, you're going to be so cautious of how you posture. I mean, Kimizu's already looked to protect him long enough with the Astral, and well, they've got extra control afterwards. Execration, they're looking to show up.
That's a nice coil.
Onto 3, but Raven, he's got the BKB, so he's going to be able to get out to safety. Not fast enough, though, as Kimizu dropping the Sanities enough to find the Chaos Knight kill. Now they can turn their attention to Januel. As Execration trade a 3-for-1, and there's that first real big team fight victory.
There's that idle fight I was talking about, right? As long as you don't clump up, as long as you don't get 3-man coiled, you're generally fine. And what happened? 3-man coil. And they were able to get the damage through onto the Chaos Knight, even after he pops the BKB to try and save himself. So it's a little bit of a worry that you're still in that sort of position where Execration can punish you. But at the end of the day, it was on the back of Fnatic just probably being in a formation that wasn't ideal for their setup.
Yeah, it's really going to come into play with how these coils are landing from Bob. He's working into the Kaya and Sunj, an item that we've really seen come into the meta, especially with the Queen of Pain B, as prevalent as she is.
I think he's kind of resigning himself to the fact that, okay, I'm probably going to get Carapaced. How am I going to survive if that's what happens, you know? And at least you're going to have that little bit of extra status resistance. It might give you the time for Carlo to get in and save you. Just these little sorts of things that do add up at this stage of the game. And it's a real quick Roche as well. Only about 20 or so seconds when it initially came up as a possibility. So Radiant, they're going to be the ones that have the first understanding of that, of course, with the TA traps. Let's see how quickly they can look to take advantage of it, because they got a lot of damage right now, especially with Nando having a couple of great team fights. He's nearly up onto his level 20, and he's got that Chrysalis finish for himself.
We have seen how some of these fights, the issues have occurred thanks to like the snowball and Astral Save as well from Execration. So it's going to be off the back of Fnatic if they can look to target down these defensive heroes, and then they can jump some of the other cores afterwards. Because if they just try and blow up Nando, before getting BKB, Kimizu's got his blink now. I mean, Tusker's got his blink now as well. So they've got to, they have to execute perfectly if they're looking for a quick 1-2 punch.
Yeah, I mean, it's this weird situation, right? Like, there can be situations where you get the initial stun, bring TA low, and maybe she gets off her BKB, but once she BKBs, then you can't Astral her anymore, right? So it's this really awkward situation where, you know, you kind of want to be there to save, but you don't want to be there to save too late. So it puts a lot of pressure onto Kimizu for sure. As they go for this 5-man smoke, they want to get a kill, and they want to transition that into Roche.
Januel's going to be able to place the ward fast enough, just before they get involved.
The blink.
A coil onto 2. Where's the extra follow-up afterwards? Carlo's going to jump in the middle of it all, but they don't have the damage to blow up Raven. Nando committing 2. He's got the DD. Armel's in trouble. One more right click's not enough as they're out to safety. Massive amount of buybacks getting back involved through the fight, but Nando, he needs assistance and he needs it now, but he won't get it. Armel, godlike here from the Queen of Pain, and now they have control around Roshan.
Yeah, it's a big commitment. As soon as that Dream Coil's not available, you kind of feel like they're super happy to go into it. And yeah, that's where the pings are happening right now. DJ straight away pinging that Roshan. They're saying, hey, this could be up. So let's see if Raven looks to quickly join him. I mean, he's 20 seconds on his TP. If Raven's not there, you can't look to take this. And I kind of feel like Fnatic would have put a little bit higher priority onto it, specifically against this TA Tusk lineup, but apparently not.
Now, has given Execration some time to come through the area. Got 3 heroes nearby, but again, I mean, DJ. Look at how he's trying to gain the information.
Has to break the Vendetta, though, wanting to make sure he wasn't being hit by that Ignite from the Ogre. Still does a ton of damage at this stage of the game. He's level 10 on Ogre with the Veil of Discord as well. But they're taking this kind of slow, and this is what I was talking about with that snap decision not to go.
They're actually going to run in instead.
Oh,
I'm on the high gun. Radiant, they've got the information. He's going to look to jump on forward. Carlo, duking and driving through the tree line. Snowball further delaying this. Nando's back alive. They're pretty deep as well. Armel's even going to commit on forward aggressively. He's got to be cautious. Where's Nando with the damage? It's not fast enough as Armel blows up the outward Devour. He does buy back instantly though, so they're looking to rejoin the fight.
Yeah, that was so close there on Armel,
Raven
actually.
TP'd out.
Oh. Yeah,
I don't think
they're
they saw
starting to ping it a little bit. I mean, they know how low Roche is now with the TA trap just going there. That was so close to Armel actually dying and feeding away that huge kill streak to the TA. If he wasn't perfectly on point with a Sonic Wave, which, yeah, sure, got him the kill on the Tusk, but it just clipped TA as well with the Dragon Lance and the Enchanted Quiver. Actually, just picked up the Quiver, but still, he would have had the range to be able to get those last 1 or 2 right clicks in if he wasn't being pushed back by the Sonic Wave. So, tiny little things that are just favoring Fnatic right now.
Still, this game, I mean, it's relatively close in regards to net worth. 24,000 at the moment from Fnatic.
Smoke
Let's
coming
try and
through.
smoke up as 5. Armel leading the charge. Gonna run into Nando pretty shortly. Smoke pops and Nando has got enough time to be able to reset his positioning. They don't have Bob nearby. He's underneath the ward down bottom, so they are... And they've got an advantage here if they'd look to take the fight.
He's doing his best to do a little bit of split push, things that the puck does best. And, well, that's kind of the way that Quap's been starting to build a little bit here with the level 20 talent into the Scream of Pain, plus the Aghanim Shard. And speaking of shards, I don't think you should be letting this happen for free if you're Execration.
Sure.
They eventually go for the smoke, but DJ's perfectly positioned.
Yeah, look at how the Nyx is posturing right now. It's going to be the first to break it. He also gets a spike Carapace to cancel Bob's initiation as Nando snatches the Aegis. Raven's in trouble. And BKB looking to play off the back of the life steal, but Nando now without his own magic immunity. The rip above the first life to look to park next as well. As Fnatic still haven't lost anyone. Now Nando is stuck inside the pit, forced to just stand his ground and do as much damage as possible. But Nando is down. Kamizu's next as jabs. It's going to make sure there's no escape, but the haste, a little bit too slippery. Vincenzo, however, should be the straggler that will be caught out still as Armel hunting through the day. 11, 0, and 8, looking to add another kill to the flawless game that Armel has had so far.
Yeah, he's just doing it again. Like DJ, whoever made the call to just immediately go for that Roche, they didn't have the greatest vision, but they'd taken away the Radiant Triangle vision from Execration with that failed smoke attempt onto Nando previously. So they knew that they didn't have any understanding of exactly what was happening throughout Roche. Was it a bit of a slow decision to, you know, potentially inspect what was happening around that pit? Probably. But you got to give props to how DJ in particular was able to position himself, made sure to get that spike Carapace off, and disrupt Bob from getting in time to completely turn around that team fight in Execration's favor. Oh, just a very quick pick off there onto Carlo. 100-0. This is the point of the game where you just hate to be playing against the CK. They just completely obliterate you.
Yeah. I mean, Scotty completed on Raven, level 20. He's gone for the Aghanim Shard as well, which I believe he got from Roche. And my God, he is... he's not even top of the net worth. You just see there's a hero we haven't seen in quite some time, but it's making him feel like a pretty strong hero.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the Darkseer as well, he went into that early-ish normal punch, so going to get good value out of that, particularly against the TA with all of the damage that TA's been able to start to build up. Psychic Headband's quite nice, though. You know, give that over to the OD, you've suddenly got a whole lot of extra save potential, in addition to the Blink Dagger that he's already finished up for himself, and it kind of feels like Kamizu's resigned himself to that role, right? Like, he's got half the net worth of the rest of the cores.
Bottom? Bottom? Classic DJ, just doing DJ stuff. Help Armel as well, a nice little cheeky kill, getting rid of the puck. I mean, 3, 4, and 4 at the moment here for Bob, but I mean, really Fnatic now with this kill, they can look to get their last remaining outer tower, and I think they know Nando is mid too. They've already got the normal punch on jabs, and Nando's a goner.
Oh no, that's not the situation that you want there, and you can see Jabs is having a great time. Just throws out the laugh voice line, and well, they're looking to continue putting this pressure on.
Let's just dive deep underneath the towers, Carlo. He's got Snowball up. Oh no, still BKB, relatively healthy, and I mean, my God, this is just all Fnatic.
This is the type of confidence, you know, like, you don't obviously want to give this enormous kill streak, but they were maybe wanting to test those buybacks and see if they were willing to commit on them, because even if you feed away that kill streak, you're still in a really good spot, and then that opens up the enormous win condition for yourself.
Again, instantly jumping. They'll get rid of Vincenzo. No buyback available in the Ogre, so just further delaying the time that Execration are going to have all 5 heroes. No defense soon to be mounted. Full set of barracks claimed up top, and they've got no tier 2s to worry about, so they can continue the siege. I mean, Armel's even got a goddamn E-Blade. He's just so incredibly farmed at the moment. Top of the net worth is usurped the Templar Assassin. They're all soon to be back alive as Carlo, but a bit too late to the party.
It really does feel like they've just taken this aggressive tempo and run with it, even though obviously the first Roche fight didn't go to plan. It feels like ever since they were able to secure that second one, it's just been all Fnatic since then, and they're continuing to push on forward. Armel nearly level 25 as well, so he can just afford to play even more aggressively, at least until Puck finishes up the Aghanim Scepter. Still about one component away from that, because really, how else are you going to get
under
locked
a ward. Ando? Not again. That's just a quick and easy pick-off. Radiant, they're trying to get in the area, but it doesn't look like they'll be fast enough. It's another high-level team utilizing this goddamn Nyx Assassin. Like, if you can get out of the laning stage and have enough farm and experience to start, we see what he can just do with a Vendetta. Consistently across the map, finding these pick-offs and just giving them the information to have these successful team fights.
Wonder if they also inspected that he'd recently picked up the full Hurricane Pike as well. So while he might have had the buyback previously, this time he definitely doesn't. And they're just going to look to push in on the bottom side. Raven a little bit disjointed from the team, but he's got that Phantasm available.
They'll look to try and blow up Armel. Coil onto 2, but he's still very survivable with Raven simultaneously jump in the backline. 2 heroes gone. Well, looking at Jaunt on forward. What is Buffy doing right now? He's chilling. Even Raven's diving deep inside the base as well. Secures a kill. Now they're trying to lock on top of Bob. Such a thorn in their side is the Puck. He's making them work for it.
That's just Bob, right? Like, he's such an individually skilled player. That'll actually give him his... It'll give him his Ags as well if he wants to buy it.
Oh, it went into the ice path. Bob? Did you get that big kill on Armel?
Yeah, 1,100 gold. So if you want to buy that Ags, and he does, you can look to have that one secured. So now, Armel obviously will be kicking himself a little bit about giving away that kill streak over to Bob in particular, but it makes Execration's team fight a lot easier now. You know, I was talking about previously that you do have a lot of ways to just withstand on Fnatic's side the damage that they're putting out on Execration. Not anymore. You land a great Dream Coil, these fights can still, even 23k net worth down, go in favor of Execration. Just got to make sure no one's getting picked off first.
You're playing with a... only level 1 in Bloodlust, unfortunately, so... it's always such an exceptional way to amplify any carry as the game goes on, because you are all off the back of Nando for your damage.
Yeah.
Well, but this just...
Bobby's trying to do his part, you know, keeping these lanes pushed out, maybe force a little bit of attention away from what Fnatic really want to do, which is continue to invade onto that high ground. They've already got, of course, the 2 lanes of Rax advantage, and I think they're just going to look to play around this next Roche fight, right? It could be such a big benefit to be able to have something like the Aghanim Scepter for the CK.
Oh, Bob. He's going to run straight into them. Look at the face shift fast enough, but he's not quick with the fingers for the blink. As again, that's a Nyx Assassin being that X factor. Simultaneously, they're on top of Raven, but Raven Phantasm Illusions just assassinate the Templar Assassin. Execration have had enough as Fnatic take game 1, 38 minutes in.
Yeah, pretty devastating. I mean, that was an instant GG call after the fact, and it kind of felt like they were just biding their time, right, until the inevitable eventually happened. With, you know, some smiles on the face of Fnatic. Again, they've still got a lot to play for, of course, with this series, as Jow, he looks comfy as hell. He's sitting in his blanket. He's got the Blanky's power, and it was enough to give them the win in this game number 1.
Are you seeing crown above my head?
Yeah, birthday boy, it says.
Very good, very good. Fnatic, man, what an exceptional way to be able to start this series. Just all them in this game 1. We saw the lanes. It was something that the panel was speaking about. It was really always going to be favoring them. In the end, Armel 15-1-12. Raven 15-11. Not only was it the supports, but it was also the cores being able to, cement this game 1 victory. But we'll find out after a short break if Execration is going to be able to bring this back to force a game 3.